So hi, and welcome to the Dog Sports Decoded podcast. My name is Megan Ritchie, and I am the host. And today, Gulnaz Zagidullina was kind enough to join us again to share her thoughts on some different throwing techniques that might help you and your dog. So thank you, Gulnaz, for joining us again.
Thank you. It's such a huge pleasure. Thank you so much. It was so fun first time, so I'm really excited to be here again. I guess first time didn't go as bad as I thought.
It went very well. I know I got a lot of comments about very positive feedback from everybody. They learned a lot from talking to you, so it was a no-brainer to invite you back again to talk about today's topic. So one of the questions that I kind of had coming off of both your seminars and just some other, I guess, my dog diving experience after we started competing was around kind of practicing throws, maybe messing my own dogs up by throwing poorly. And so I kind of want to get your thoughts today on maybe practicing throwing without your dog. So we were going to talk about maybe some disc and some dock diving, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. That's two most favorite things I do is the disc and dock diving.
Awesome. So last time you were on, you shared with us how you got into dock diving. Do you want to share a little bit about how you got into disc?
Sure. Actually, I got into disc as soon as I got my dog. That was clubs back in Russia. There I started playing, and rules of disc games in Russia are slightly different than they are here. So it's different requirements, but the style of throwing, the idea of distance, exact same. So it's really no difference. When I moved to Canada, I just started playing up dog right away, and it was really easy. So up dog is one of the games where it's super beginner friendly, where you can go and play. And we have few clubs. We have club here in Calgary. We have club in Edmonton. We have some games going on in Black Bulls and Red Deer. So it's really friendly game. Anyone who can throw for a dog and dog can catch it can start playing up dog. Yeah, no, that's good. I started way before diving. I think that really helped me and helped my dog with idea of catching some objects above the water, because my dog was already catching frisbee or a ball or tag toy off in the air. So I think transition was really smooth and nice, because my dog already had the idea, I can chase things and it doesn't matter above the water or above the ground. So that helped my dog. And definitely on my diving seminars, I encourage people to practice before they bring it to the dog, because if dog does not know how to catch objects in the air, you cannot expect your dog catching objects in the air above the pool.
Right.
So it's really great to incorporate two amazing sports together. It kind of teaches you how to throw properly and how dog can catch it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you to use frisbee for your dog diving experience, because it has disadvantages more than advantages most of the time. But once you learn how to throw frisbee, you can definitely throw a tag toy or a bumper as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like a lot of the dogs that are successful in disc or frisbee are also very successful dock diving, and vice versa. So it seems like the dogs do well in both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They do well, and just generally cross-trained dogs are already so engaged with the owner, so they kind of already know the game. It's just now new requirements. Now they have to jump in the pool. That kind of makes it easier for the dog, because for them it does not matter what object you use, what tag toy you use. They just go in for it. Usually, yeah, you're right. Fly ball dogs really do great at dog diving, or disc dogs do great at dog diving, because it's the same concept. Yeah. We just put it above the ground on the dog now, but they okay, I just have to catch it.
Yeah.
So it's easier for dogs who has the ground experience for sure.
Yeah. So I guess kind of the whole reason behind the podcast was something that was kind of instilled in me early on when I started playing disc, was kind of the importance of practicing your throws without your dog, because I don't know, if you throw poorly, then your dog gets kind of demotivated. So it was very important on that side. So if we were to talk about disc, what do you see as like the importance of practicing without your dog? Is it something you focus on or not, I guess?
Absolutely. Practicing without the dog is absolutely critical. And then even we start our classes, we really focus on our throws before I allowed my students to use the dog. Because you're right, you can disencourage your dog, or you can throw it poorly. You can maybe make a poor throw for your dog, and it's not safe throw for your dog as well, right? Then as soon as dogs come into picture, we start getting more nervous. We don't know how to throw. We forgot what hand do we use. So definitely, your body has to know how to do it without even a dog being involved first. It's critical to practice without your dog for sure.
Sorry.
And yeah, an interesting observation where you said dog can be disencouraged. When I just started playing with my German Shepherd, I had an instructor who was a male, and his throws were so amazing. He would throw 100 yards, no problem. So she would come to me. I throw 20, and then she goes to him and okay, adopt me now. She would always choose the person who is more advanced and confident in throwing. So definitely, once you start playing with your dog, you're a team, and you should be learning just as fast as your dog learning, because your dog might be able to catch right away, but if you cannot throw, you are lacking as a team member. So get out there and practice without your dog.
Yeah, it's funny, I think it was maybe 2 weekends ago, I ended up going out, just had some time to kill waiting for an appointment, and had my Frisbees, so I started practicing with them, and was trying a few new throws, and it's shocking how much you need to practice without your dog, especially if you're trying a new throw or something like that, because if I had brought my dog with me, like, the poor guy wouldn't have caught a single Frisbee. So
yeah. And also really important, go out there in any weather conditions. Don't wait for perfect sunny day to go out there, because it's not fair. Guess what? When you're competing, you have 1 minute, and that 1 minute can be windy, rainy, hailing, whatever. You cannot choose that the weather. So you have to go out and throw it into the rain, throw it into the wind, against the wind, try all the different weather conditions. So when you're confident, when you go to compete, you tried it all, you find, how to deal, how to adjust your throw to different weather conditions as well. Another great thing you could do to improve your skills is you can play other games such as Frisbee Ultimate. So you can join recreational team, which I do. I love playing Frisbee Ultimate. So it's a slightly bigger disc, but you learning how to throw to another people, and it's much easier than to a dog, because person is a easy object. Yep. It's right there, so you're learning to throw and you're learning your aim. Then with a dog, you kind of don't know when you're just throwing into a field. So play Ultimate if you have that chance. Join the team. It's super fun game. Another way is free golf. There's your own dog frisbee, does not matter. Or you can get this golf frisbee and just go and practice. Again, you will have the aim to go for.
Yeah.
Much easier than a dog. And then you're just adding the dog into the picture. Now you are confident with your throws. You know what is the distance you can go for. Yeah. So practicing without dog, I think it should be 90% of your time and only 10% with your dog, because your dog has limitations. They are running, they're getting tired. So you should not practice like that. You should be going out there already with a good throw.
Right.
Or if you don't have good confident throws yet, don't hesitate. Learn how to do rollers.
Yeah.
Don't go into throws yet.
Yeah.
Just do rollers. And especially if your dog not even a year old, make sure you're just doing rollers for now, because you don't want them to jump yet at that age.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the rollers are definitely something people don't realize how important it is kind of early on when they're just starting, and how valuable that throw can be. as you gain confidence, especially if you're mixing tricks and stuff in.
Absolutely. It's absolutely like a step before you can throw. Yeah. I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
So rollers are absolutely critical. And other thing is, once you're actually competing with your dog, you find doing rollers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Yeah. So rollers are important. And if it's a windy day and you're not sure you can throw into wind, I would encourage you to use rollers instead. Believe me, rollers can go as far as throws. And I actually brought a disc. So when you are actually doing roller, it's exact same technique. You just, when you throw, you just move your hand that way. But then you do rollers, you're just literally practicing your throw. It does not matter. You're just learning how to use that wrist to spin that frisbee. Yeah. So with rollers, because it's safer for your dog and it's easier for your dog to catch. Let's say you do play toss and fetch league or you do play up dog games. Both of these organizations will allow you to do rollers, and they just go for them. And if that's kind of easier for a dog, and then you start. It's like you start with it. You have to.
Yeah. I love that you brought the rollers up, because it was a real aha kind of moment for me when somebody had suggested that. It was like, if you're in a really windy condition, use rollers. Yeah. As soon as they said it, I was like, of course. But yeah, it never would occur to me otherwise.
So I can go step by step how I start with the dogs, because we don't go straight to throws yet. If you want to just if you're a beginner and you're starting with your puppy, ideally have two exact same frisbees. And I'm actually will be able to sell Hero Discs soon, because I'm official distributor of Hero Discs now, and they are best discs in the world, obviously. So I brought two exact same discs, and ideally get the same color even, so your dog has no difference, no favorites, exact same. So you just start with two because you want to teach your dog. You engaging with one, they dropping one, and engaging with another one. I don't want you to have to, take it away from your dog. I want you to, right off the bat, teach your dog to exchange. It's a game of exchange. And as soon as they come back to you, they get another frisbee. As soon as they come back to you, they get another. So they have that desire to run back to you as well, because this game will be timed. And you need to make sure you have as many throws in there within this minute or 90 seconds as possible. So we start with two discs. First, we just encourage our dog to play with it, because it is a plastic, so it's different from any other toy your dog probably saw before. So what you're making sure your dog is comfortable with grabbing off the side of it, because it's not possible to grab it here or here. So we're really aiming for dog grabbing it. So we encourage tug of war game. Dog grabbed it, we're letting it tug, and then exchange it to another frisbee, again tug. So then once your dog learned, I can grab it, I put it upside down. I have it upside down like a plate, and I slide it. So this is called slider. So now, just within maybe 10 feet from you, you slide it one way, dog grabs it and runs back to you. You slide another one another way. So you're teaching your dog, again, come back to you as fast as possible, drop it, and go for another one, because it's always next one will be coming. So get ready, next one is coming. So after sliders, you can start doing a little rollers. So now your dog learns they only can grab it on this side. That is really important. Why we do sliders this way, not that way. So they learn, I can grab it off the rim. And so next step will be a roller. So rollers, you hold your hand. Usually if you're right-handed, that's the best way to grab it. So it's exact same what you would throw, but you just go at 45 degrees. That's it depends on the weather. Like, let's say you're playing outdoors, it might be windy. So if it's windy, your disc will go this way. So then you just increase the degree. So just make sure you kind of learning that depending on weather conditions. So you start rolling the frisbee, and after you're good at rolling and your dog knows how to grab it while it's rolling, great. So it means your dog now ready for little little catches, and your little catches should be within your within area. You're not throwing 10 feet or like 20, 100 feet right away. You just go and catch right here, right here. So maybe a little like 3 feet throw. And then now you're teaching your dog go further and further.
Yeah.
But definitely if that, it's not an easy process, doesn't happen overnight. So make sure you're working a lot on rollers before you even can go to catches. Another thing you can throw out there is teach your dog go around separately, because that will really help you with what is the direction of your throw goes. Because if your dog's staring at you and you have frisbee, guess what? You're throwing frisbee at them, and they wouldn't have the ability to turn fast and go for it.
Yeah.
But if you teach your dog go around you, now you can throw, and they can actually see the direction where frisbee goes. So it's like a little bit directional work there, getting involved. But okay, you're losing me again.
A little bit.
Okay.
I think you're saying it's just directional, right? So your dog goes around you, and then they're running in where you're going to throw. So it's a little easier for you to line them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Another thing you can start learning as a handler right away. So once you get used to holding the frisbee right way, right? Like just your body get used to how to hold it, you can use this side of it to show the direction where you're going. So let's say you're going this way. Before you straighten the frisbee up, you can show your dog. I use it now, it's so automatic for me. Before I throw, and let's say I was playing up dog, because it could be any way, I can throw anyway. So to make my throw successful, I want to communicate with my dog and say, this way we're going, or this way we're going, or that way. So definitely where your body turns is a big hint for a dog, big cue. But if you right away teach your dog, this is the direction I'm going to throw, believe me, your dog don't have to guess what 360 degree you're going to throw. So maybe right away learn to do this move. So it's just kind of extra moves, like you show them and then you throw.
Yep.
So you go this way and then you turn your hand into a throw. It's the same thing with the rollers. So you show it and then you roll it.
Yeah.
Because it will help your dog to be like, oh, we're going to the right, we're going to the left. Much easier than guessing. And your catches will be more successful because dog knows what way to run.
And I guess the way it was explained to me too, if they know where you're throwing it, you can get longer distance throws as well, because they know they need to run out that way. So if you're doing a really long distance throw, they have to kind of lead out so you can point to them and tell them where they need to go without them circling back and looking back.
Absolutely.
Why haven't you thrown it yet? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. You really can teach your dog go for a distance, right? Like you show the direction and it's just a trust. They just run as far as they can, and then frisbee goes right above them.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Otherwise, if they just run random direction and you're throwing in other directions. Yeah.
Well, you've given everybody private instruction here on how to throw, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I want everybody to be safe.
Yes, it's very important. So if people they're started their dog on disc, they now know it's important to go out and practice without their dog. Are there certain drills you would recommend they do, or what should they do when they go out to practice by themselves?
I would go maybe with a partner, just so it's easier to kind of aim for somebody instead of just nowhere. And then you can set up maybe distance at the beginning, 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards. You can do this drills with a human object, because then you don't have to collect your frisbees as well. So another way, you can just have maybe some kind of aim with you. So it could be like some kind of basket or whatever, or like the tree you're aiming for. But definitely have that distance and then increase it gradually, and just practice your throws and have it in different conditions, like different weather conditions. Try it. Yeah. I would just have the frisbees what are not used by the dog. So like this ones, I don't use with my dog.
Yeah.
I only use them for practice and for my own practice. So I go out and throw until your arm hurts, and then you can go home.
That's your test. You're done when your arm hurts.
Exactly, when you cannot throw anymore.
And I guess, I don't know, so many of the dog training things we do, we always feel silly going out and practicing them. I'll say on our own, so if you're out there throwing frisbees at a pylon or something, you might feel a little silly.
Yeah.
So if you have a friend you can rope into it, all the better. You can kind of avoid the embarrassment that way.
Yeah. And it's easier with a human, believe me. And once you learn the technique of throwing, now you can be confident, okay, I can do it with my dog now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And do you vary the height you're throwing, like either for your dog, or like do you practice throwing at different heights, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, I try to stay at the same height. It might, if it's really windy, your frisbee might go higher, or like if you are going for a distance, it might go higher, and then you expecting your dog kind of watch it and it gets down to them. But if you're just playing, let's say, outdoor games, really, it's no game there where you have to throw really far. It's more about your accuracy of your throw and directions where you're throwing. So that probably what another exercise could be for you as like a handler. So to be able to throw right, left, and even like managing of your frisbees, right? How do you collect the frisbees while? Yeah, 1 second.
Sorry, we lost you at managing your frisbees, I think.
Yeah, collecting your frisbees, right? Like how do you collect them while game is going on, while your dog is running around? So maybe that is another exercise you can do by your own. It's going out there and learning how do I throw east, west, south, north, like learn how to throw the different directions, and how is your body like staying on the same spot and you throwing in different directions. That's another thing you could do, just to make sure you're kind of ready for your dog to join you.
So I think that's really all the questions I had about disc. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners about throwing for frisbees, like practice throws or anything, or did that kind of cover it?
Yeah, I think that covers the base of it. Like it's different games. Like I said, it's toss and fetch league where you go for a distance throw. Right now it's happening. So if you're interested, find your local groups. If toss and fetch goes worldwide, please join the team. It's a super fun game. Super awesome, supportive people will be there just helping you out. So that is about the distance, and you can use the rollers as well now. Another game you can play with your dog is Up Dog, and I would encourage you to join that too because it's super beginner friendly, and you can do freestyle there as well if you want to incorporate tricks with this. Yeah, so that's kind of base of it. Join my classes if you want to learn more from me, because we are going to have more classes at Kiana Kennel here in Calgary. And it's just really fun. I think the game of the frisbee is incredible because you're staying in the middle of the field and your dog is running around. What can be better than that? You don't do anything. Your dog brings your frisbee back. You throw it again. 10 minutes and your dog is tired. Good to go.
Yeah, I think you certainly touched on this.
And it's really, really,
love
it's like really affordable.
Yeah. And I just love how beginner friendly disc is. Like, I know you've mentioned that a few times.
Absolutely.
But it's very, very welcoming to newbies. And it's compared to something like agility, to me, it's a much quicker sport to pick up. So it's easy to see some success pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone can do it. As long as they like chasing something, then you can let them chase the frisbee. That's it.
Yeah. And like you said, tire them out very quickly. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even today, I went to a field, play with my dogs, and I know they tired for the evening. I like that idea. Like, I don't need any equipment except this. Like, this is it. That's all investment I did, and I can play anywhere I want.
and they're easy to keep in the car. You don't have to lug around a big tunnel or something like that.
Yeah, tunnel or like a wish boat or anything like that, or pool. So you just have frisbees. Yeah,
Just a couple frisbees. Yep. All right. So then I guess it's time for dock diving. So this is something
awesome.
I didn't. Yeah. So it's something I didn't think about a whole lot before the seminar, but now that we've seen a little bit of success, it's quite clear to me that it would be beneficial to practice my throws without my dog. Is that something you would recommend again, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, it's a lot of groundwork, So if we are talking about dog catching the object, the toy, it's definitely tons of groundwork. And if your dog played frisbee, okay, your dog already knows the concept, but now you need to teach the dog maybe catch another object. So you can potentially start with the frisbees. There's few different frisbees out there. Hero Air would be good example, which is floating. So, but if you use something like Superstar or Super Swirl, they're gonna sink. So you really cannot use them for a pool because it's gonna sink every time. But it's few frisbees out there which I will be also available to sell soon. They're gonna float. The big disadvantage, though, if you're competing outdoor, the frisbee gonna fly away. It's just so light. It's always really lighter than any toy, than any other, the bumper. It's gonna fly away. So it happens so, and not the best toy. Yeah. But with a bumper, it's easier to learn. So let's say you get the bumper, it's a heavy enough toy, but you need to get used to throw the bumper now.
Yeah.
And it's all about timing, and you can start doing it on the ground just to teach your dog to catch it every time. Yeah. Then you can move on the dog once you guys figure out the timing. Easiest way to start, and let's say we already have really close edge of a dog, because you don't need run out space yet. Just start really close, and let's say just throw it like right in front of them, make them catch on the short distance. Once you're successful at that, once your timing is good, your dog is catching it off the dog really close, but catching it. Now you can increase the distance. Now you can give them more run out space. Now you can throw a little bit further. But it comes like really gradually. It also really depends from dog to dog, right? Like one dog will be slower, one will jump higher, so it's really this team effort going on. But once you get it, honestly. I had few dogs on the seminars, they like caught it like right away and start jumping so much bigger because they understand the concept. Oh, I can chase things. Once they have a moving object in front of them, they can actually jump further. Yeah. So it's a great kind of next step. Also seen many dogs who don't like chase method. Maybe they didn't have experience playing and catching stuff in the air, and they do great with place method too. So really need to look at your dog. A lot of field dogs do much better with placing the toy out there, and they jump as far as they can anyway. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But with the chase, you can create the trajectory of the jump, right? Like you can create that arc where you want your dog go and catch. With the place, you wouldn't be able to do that. So really just practice more.
So I guess that's where the practicing comes in handy. If you kind of go out to a field and kind of practice how to arc your particular toy, it'll be easier for you when you do move to the dock.
Yeah, and you're not throwing, and that's the trick, right? So once you are throwing without your dog, let's say, you really, if you're aiming for your dog to land at 20 feet, right? You're not throwing at 20 feet because that's the dog will land. That's where a dog already landing. So if you want the dog land at 20 feet and you know your dog is capable, it's big enough, it's strong enough. So then your frisbee placement should be somewhere at like 7, 8, 9, 10 feet, really, because that will be like a peak performance for them. So they're catching it in the highest point of the jump and then they're landing at 20. So you really need to be like practicing, not throwing far, but aiming at this distance, and also practicing your timing. When is your dog close enough for you to throw?
Right. And again, you were saying that's when you're trying to get your dog to kind of catch it in the air as they hit the peak of their jump, not if you were just throwing it into the toy if they're not catching it. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's just two different techniques. If you were like looking for them to chase it, then you are aiming to the peak of the jump. If you are looking for just dog to retrieve it from the water, you don't have to. You can just throw it as far as you can, because you just know your dog gonna jump for it regardless, and it's not looking for it. It has, maybe it's not tracing it yet. So if it just goes for it, you can throw as far as you can, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I know our connection's been a little shaky, so I just wanted to make sure that was clear if people are listening.
Yeah.
To it. Okay. So I think.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, this is technology, right? What we have to deal with. So what I wanted to ask you kind of was, which you sort of touched on, was if your dog is jumping, let's say 20 feet, you're probably standing, I don't know, I'll say 20 or more feet further back on the dock. So your total throw is going to be 40 feet if you're not doing that chase method. Is that right?
No, you're still staying at the edge of it, at the end of it. No. You
would be. So in that case, you've got somebody holding the dog, like restraining the dog, or in a sit stay or something?
You can use second handler when you're competing with an ADD. Definitely, you can use second handler, but it kind of creates a little bit more complex throw now, because you have to communicate with that person, communicate with the dog. So I personally, when I do the chase method, I make sure my dog knows to stay and knows my release command. So my release command will be like, ready, go, right? Like they on the go, they run. So I know they run, and now I know I can throw. When you have handler, you have to always have maybe same holder for a dog, so that person doesn't release it too fast, doesn't release it too soon, because it's gonna screw up with your throw now, and then your dog not gonna jump as fast. So like adding second person is the tricky part, because sometimes if you travel, that's what I learned. I actually was always using holder for one of my shepherds, and I Hollywood, like Beverly Hills dog show, dog diving event, big deal. I wanted my dog to perform well, and it didn't go like, big. It just went average. She probably would jump better without a holder. So when you're adding extra person, kind of make sure that person always can be with you on a competition. So if you don't want to make it complicated, just make sure your dog just knows to stay. And it's all about your communicating to your dog when it's allowed to start running. If your dog just sits and then runs, and you don't have the timing ready yet, like you weren't ready, your throw gonna be messy and your dog not gonna catch it. So really, it's better do it on the ground where your dog knows sit and it has a release command for it. And then you set the release command, you throw the disc now. So it should be really like clear for your dog when they can run.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can use the holder. Mm-hmm. But I kind of don't trust the people, I trust my dog more.
Well, it's hard, I guess. Each dog is different, but definitely adding another person into the mix is just somebody else to coordinate, like you said. So, yeah. So I don't know if this is a question other people have, but it's a question I had. So I found my throws were kind of using the underhand throw method, because Riggs isn't jumping and biting the toy in the air yet, using that chase method. Yeah. So I'm finding my throws are maxing out at about 20 feet with some of those lighter bumpers. So I thought going to a heavier bumper would help, and that maybe got me another 5 or 10 feet. But what do you recommend if somebody is trying to throw further? Even say, some of the record holders are going for 40 feet or something like that. How do you get that extra distance?
Yeah, it depends what you are comfortable with and what your dog likes to chase the most. So definitely try different bumpers. It's hard to find right away what your dog like and what is easier for you to throw. Some people actually make their own bumpers. They use like this hydrant material and they fill it up with stuff, and they make them big as well, maybe make them heavy, because the bigger objects easier to see for a dog and easier to actually drop in the air. That's why we don't use balls for chase method, because how hard it is to catch that one ball in the air versus the one long heavy object flying in front of them, much easier. So sometimes you will see bumpers have ends on them, like strings on the end, because dogs still able to grab at least the string on the side. So it's really about kind of what's comfortable for you, what your dog enjoys the most. Because I truly believe you should be only playing on the dog, and that dog has to desire it, really want that specific toy. So make sure it's comfortable for them to chew on it. Make sure they want to grab it. Too heavy material can be a little bit, harder. Depends on your dog. If Riggs wants something harder, go for it. But make sure that is what he wants, not what is easier for you, but what he wants. And then you can kind of practice with that toy.
Yeah, I think it's like any dog training, it's the dog chooses the reward, not us. So
yeah, exactly.
The treats they like, no, this is easy. The toys they like. Yeah,
this is easy to throw, so you have to love this one. No, because that is the reason he's jumping, right? He's doing it for you, and he wants to get that specific toy. So toy has to be his favorite.
Yes, it does. All right. I don't know if I had a whole lot of other questions. Is there something you would recommend people practice for dock diving? I know one thing I've had trouble with, again, is just kind of how narrow the pool is. You don't want to throw it and have the dog jump onto the ramp, because they would get hurt, or throw it out of the pool, like you mentioned with the discs. Is that something that we should practice? Just like using a narrow, pace out a narrow field or something like that to practice on?
Practice on throwing and aiming on the same distance all the time. So then you would have kind of going right to left. It's still windy condition could take your bumper away, but we are lucky if you're competing indoors. It's not an issue. Yeah. So kind of what easy kind of trick to do is have just a bucket maybe and your toy, and you aiming, and this bucket might be staying 10 feet away from you, and you're just aiming and throwing into a bucket. And that's all your goal is, to get into the bucket. So then you aim on the same spot, and you're making your dog's life so much easier.
Yeah, if you always predictable for your dog, and you always throwing at the same distance, it's so much easier for your dog again, right? They don't have to guess where is it going to go, right or left. It's always in the middle. One exercise is definitely practicing without dog in the field, aiming for something.
Yeah, perfect. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else then that I haven't asked yet about dock diving that you wanted to mention? Throwing wise or anything like that? Any other tips for people if they're struggling with that?
No, I think we covered most of it.
Okay.
Yeah. The goal is just keep practicing.
Yeah. In the pool, out of the pool, wherever you can.
On the parking lot.
Yeah. You got lots of time between your splashes, so you have plenty of time to practice.
Exactly. Go and practice.
That's awesome. Okay, I think that's all I had to ask. So thank you again for coming on. Really appreciate you taking the time to come and join us again and share your knowledge with us.
Thank you.
So if people want to learn more about your disc dog classes, they can go to Academy.ca.
Yeah, Kiana Kennel, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and dock diving, you are teaching through Prairie Dog Sports?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So I will put the links for that below the video, but definitely would highly recommend go take a class with Gulnaz. You'll definitely not regret it and get a lot of information out of that. So
thanks. Yeah, I definitely love both disc and diving, and it's amazing to combine them both together. It's pretty cool. Please check them out. And we have classes at Kiana now starting, and they are pretty fun. We all have fun, and we're going to be doing more classes.
Awesome.
It's especially it's indoor. Even in the winter time, we can still play with disc.
And it's a beautiful big training center. So lots of space to throw and catch and work on some cool tricks and stuff.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Amazing place. We also adding more classes with me. So I'm going to extend from disc into other classes. Another one we are working on is kind of learn what your dog like. So I'm going to do little demos of different sports, and you can come and check it out. So keep your kind of like look after what we're going to present to you, because it's going to be so much fun and a lot of cool stuff coming.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm very excited to hear that. So we'll keep an eye out for that as well.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again. And thanks to everybody for listening.
Thank you. It was a little glitchy, but I hope you get some information out of it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And if people have questions, they can always find my really unique name on Facebook and just shoot me a message. I will be glad to answer questions if you guys have some.